Hello students, in this lecture we will be discussing the Marsilio of Padua's views on law, legislator, popular sovereignty. Law includes both divine law and human law, as well as the relationship between the church and the state and what should be the function of both these entities. So first, as we have already understood that Maslio was very much interested in two laws, though he said there are four types of laws, but the two laws which he has been mentioning very in a vocal manner was divine law and human law. Divine law, according to him, was law which is a direct command of God and without any human inputs or without any human deliberations about a voluntary act of human beings to be done or to be avoided in this world. So, but for the sake of it was this law, divine law was for the sake of attaining the best or some conditions desirable for man in the world to come. So, human law against this divine law is a command, not against this divine law, but on the contrary, the human law is a command to the whole body of citizens or its prevailing party, arising directly from the deliberations of those empowered to make laws. That is, the people will be making laws, and these laws will be applicable to the entire uh, people residing in the society or in the state. So, the divine law was the will of the God, and it had no relation with the man-made law. So, the punishment or the rewards are to be awarded according to the law, but they are not in this world. Both will be available in heaven. That is, punishment reward according to divine law will not be decided by the men in this world, but it will be decided in the heaven. So, human beings or the kings or the secular authorities has got nothing to do with divine law. Whereas in the human law, man makes laws to facilitate the performance of something or for avoiding something. That is, punishments and rewards are the subjects of this world, and God is not connected with it at all. So, human law here becomes an imperative expression of the common need. So, which is any need which the human beings do have, it is formulated by reason. That is, we human beings are reasonable creatures, and we are reasonable creatures. So, the law has to be promulgated by a recognized authority, and when it has been recognized by reasonable authority or any authority, then it must have coercive features. So it will be sanctioned by force. So if anyone does not obey the law, he will be subjected to punishment, which will be decided by the state authorities. So law is also a judgment on what is advantageous or what is disadvantageous for the community as a whole. So such things which are good for the community will be approved by the law, and those things which are not good for the community will be discouraged by the law. So who will make the laws, and how will the laws will be processed, and what will the process of enactment? So here he says that it's very important to understand that he gives preference to the human body who are in the form of legislators. So legislator will be responsible for making the law. He will be the cause of law. So the legislator or the primary and proper efficient cause of law will be the people or the whole body of citizens or the weightier part of it, that is weightier part of it through its election or will expressed by the general assembly of citizens. Now what does this mean? This implies that law is the result of corporate action of the people or whole body of citizens or its weightier part. There are three things. First is law is the result of corporate action of the people. That is, all the people together will be indulged in the making of the law. Second thing is that the whole people, whole body of citizens will be involved in it. That is he talking about the direct democracy? Is he saying that all the people, if they are involved in the making of the law, then there will be no one who will be opposing the law? And if whole body of citizens are not there, then probably such people who are numerically large in number, that is weightier part, perhaps a weightier part means that the quantity and the quality of persons in that community of which the law is made. So it means that it may not always be possible that all the citizens at a particular point of time will be able to meet together in order to create or make a law. So in that situation, only the weightier part, that is, to some it might be like prevailing part, will participate in the enactment of law. This is the working solution of Marsilio for avoiding any probable deadlock. That is, when making of law, there should be consent, there should be willingness of the people, and there should be uh, common liking towards each other. So authority to make law belongs only to those men whose making of it will cause the law to be better observed. That means only the whole body of citizens, only the whole body of citizens are such men. Since the whole body of citizens, by giving a consent, makes the law valid, and it also creates a legal authority. When all the people are making the law, that means it will create a legal authority. So Marsilio's conception of law and government lays the foundation of, we can say, in other words, popular sovereignty. So law will be valid when it receives the consent of the people, that is maximum number of people. When he says that the whole body of person, that means maximum number of people will be consenting to the laws. So his emphasis on the weightier part, as it has been explained by uh, Marsilio, it does not negate the idea of popular sovereignty. So will of the whole body of citizens will, under all circumstances, get priority, and this will make the popular sovereignty complete. That is, uh, now we can see that the idea of democratic sovereignty or popular sovereignty of Marsilio, it has a good deal of impact upon the thought system of 19th and 20th century government. Now his theory of accountability of the ruler to the general public also highlights the idea of popular sovereignty. Now he maintains that those who are the ruler, those who are the lawmakers as well as rulers, will be accountable to public. That is, he understands that this means that the ruler is not perfect, and ruler is susceptible to mistakes, and he is capable of doing misdeeds.